today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the ultimate new lead nurture automation. Let me get my Zoom window set up here. Where's my chat? Okay, great. And today's webinar is number 5 in a series of 9. So if you've been with us from the beginning, we first learned about how to set up easy automated wins for new clients. Then we learned about building online scheduling in high level, leveraging pipelines. Last week, we talked about reactivation campaigns and how powerful they can be. And today we are talking about the Fast 5, the ultimate new lead nurture. That is where we're at in this series. Again, it's number 5 of 9. Hopefully you can join us for the rest. If you're new to high level, we are the all-in-one sales and marketing platform that agencies, consultants, marketers white label and resell to their clients. We have a 14-day free trial. If you haven't opened up an account already, you can do so at gohighlevel.com. All right, it looks like we've got folks in from Utah, California, New York, San Jose. Awesome. I think we are ready to kick this off. So let me just close out my Slack here. All right, so I want to kick this off with a question, and I'm going to launch a poll that you should see pop up. And the question is, when you generate a new lead for a client, what happens next? And so in the poll, you will see options for your client receives a notification to follow up with the lead. You can select more than one, by the way. The lead goes into a spreadsheet that your client has access to. A nurture automation kicks off. And then the fourth one is a call center or a response center handles the new lead. So let us know what happens when you generate a new lead for your clients. And we'll hang out just for a minute here to see. We're about 43% of you have replied. Looks like we're slowing down here. All right, let's see, 47. And I'm going to shut it off in just a second. All right, 50% of you have replied, so I'm going to kill the poll at 52. All right, we're going to end it there. So as expected, the majority of you said that your client receives a notification that they should follow up with the new lead. 17% of you are also pushing the leads into a spreadsheet. 54% of you are using nurture automation, which is great. Hopefully we'll learn about some new things you can add to that today. And 6% of you actually have a call center or response center in place, which kudos to you. That is sort of the next level, which is very cool. Now, with this in mind, as I said, the majority of you said that you're basically notifying your clients to follow up with the new lead, because that's what we're hired to do, right? We are lead generators. The problem with this, and if you are new to your agency journey, you will probably learn this lesson like we all do at some point, is that if all we do is focus on generating leads and then we notify our clients, hey, you have a new lead, go follow up, it's going to lead to an ugly conversation that you'll have at some point with the client. The inevitable showdown, right? And I can recall days at our agency years ago when I'd hop on a call with a new client at the end of the month and I'd be like, hey, Dr. Bob, I see that we generated you 100 Botox leads for $10 a pop. Amazing, right? And Dr. Bob would look at me like I had 3 heads and be like, what are you talking about? None of these people showed up. None of them bought anything from me. These leads absolutely stink. I think we're going to cancel our contract with you. And then I would look at him and be like, Dr. Bob, what are you talking about? Like, these are amazing leads. You guys must not know what you're doing on the sales side of things. And now you're fighting with your new client about who's right or who's wrong. The thing is, the truth is that you are right. clients don't know what to do with new leads. But the truth is, it's costing you clients. Here's the thing. Businesses don't know what to do with new leads because they are used to referrals. They are used to people walking in the front door or calling in who have already been pre-sold by a friend or a family member. And that is very, very different than generating a cold lead off the internet. And so there's a disconnect there. And we don't want to sit on our high horse and say, oh, you just don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to close leads, because it costs us clients, right? And so it's not good for us to just sit back and say, well, we did our part of the job. If you can't do your end, then you must be a crappy client. We need to solve for the problem. And the good news is that we can solve for this problem, especially when we're using high level. But first, we need to understand, if we're going to solve this problem, that the number one factor here is speed to lead. Response time is what I'm getting at. If we look at, there have been a lot of studies around this. One main study by a very smart person who was a professor at MIT. And basically what the study showed was that after 5 minutes, the odds of connecting with a lead or qualifying the lead drop by 80%. So essentially fall off a cliff. Responding to leads within the first minute increases conversion rates by almost 400%. So let this sink in. Take a look at this graph, right? If within 5 minutes you're engaging a new lead, your odds of success are dramatically increased, whereas just 10 minutes later, look at that drop off. And then when we go ahead and check out the data, the reality is that clients take forever to reply, right? Look at these industry times, 2 hours. The very best one is 16 minutes, 48 minutes, almost 2 hours here, an hour and a half. You're just never going to see success happen if you're relying on the business to follow up. And if we think about this, it makes sense, right? In my experience, when we would look into the person who's responsible at our client's business for handling follow-up, that person is often doing a million things, right? They're at the front desk, they're answering inbound phone calls, they're dealing with walk-ins, they are taking out the trash, they're picking up lunch, they're walking the owner's dog 3 times a day. All of these things make it nearly impossible for that person to, one, even try to handle a new lead, and two, know what they're doing if they do get to them. And so while they may think, oh yeah, at the end of the day, I go through and I contact as many of those new leads as came in, that's adequate. It's not when we look at what we just saw here on this graph, right? We have a 5-minute window. And so this is where we need to get smart and we need to leverage automation, which is what we're going to learn about today. In high level, we have a recipe. It's called the Fast 5, and it is designed to specifically fix this problem. So let's hop in and take a look. And if you guys have questions, you can use the Q&A function at the bottom of Zoom, and we'll have time for Q&A to go back through those questions at the end of the webinar. So let's hop into a high-level account here, and we're going to go over to the Automations tab, and I'm going to spin up a Fast 5 recipe. So we click Create New, and we're going to scroll down here, and we are looking for Fast 5. So we're going to select that. We're going to hit Create New. And let's take a look at what the Fast 5 does. So we don't have a trigger set up here. However, you're bringing your leads in. Maybe it's Facebook lead ads trigger. Maybe it's from a form, whatever it may be. We're going to funnel our leads into this automation. The first step here is just pushing them into a pipeline. Again, we learned in webinar number 3 about the power of pipelines, why we use them. So this step here just creates an opportunity in a pipeline. Then we're sending a confirmation, right? So we're typically running campaigns where people can claim some sort of promotion. So we're going to automate back an email. Thanks for claiming that thing. the next step is this, which is typically booking. Remember, we learned about that in webinar number 2, why we need to be using online scheduling. So we've got a calendar here with a booking link that we're going to send them. Let us know if you have any questions. This is pretty standard, right? It sounds like you guys are already doing this. Here's where things really increase. So we're going to send a very conversational text message. Congrats on claiming our free teeth whitening offer. Chase, the next step is to get you booked for an appointment. Is now a good time to grab a date and time? Is now a good time to get you scheduled? This, and notice the way this feels, right? This is very conversational, and it's designed to elicit a yes or no, essentially, positive or negative response. We are then going to wait 2 minutes to see if they reply. So if they reply within 2 minutes, they're going to move forward. If 2 minutes goes by and they haven't replied, we're going to move forward down the no path. So let's say that they do reply, then we do our artificial intelligence check. So this is an if else conditional step that's leveraging Google's AI product called Dialogflow, and it's going to read the response and determine was that positive or negative. We learned about this last week with reactivation campaigns, right? It does a great job of recognizing everything from yes, sure, sounds good, great, all is positive, no, man, no thanks, whatever, as negative. And so we're automatically going to be able to action off of the reply. If the reply is positive, we say, great, here's the link to book, grab any day and time that works for you. So this is our ideal path to conversion, right? Somebody claims a lead, we text them, they reply positively, we send them the booking link and they book. This is critical, right? We already talked about this in webinar number 2 when we talked about scheduling. Clients think they want leads. What they really want are booked appointments. 90% of businesses need some sort of booking to happen before they make a sale. And this is the ideal path. We are taking leads and turning them into bookings without staff even having to get involved. If they don't reply within 2 minutes, well, let's see what we're going to do next. We're going to do our call connect feature. This is like a secret weapon. This step, when a lead gets here, we call your client, and when they pick up, we read whatever is in this message, right? And this can be whatever we want. So let's say I was running that free teeth whitening campaign for the dentist. I'd say something like, you have a new free whitening lead from, and then this is going to dynamically insert the lead's name. Press any key to connect with them. So I'm at the front desk at Dr. Bob's, the phone rings, I answer, and I hear, and I'd probably customize this even more, right? I'd say like, Chase's marketing agency has generated another free teeth whitening lead. The lead's name is Kelsey Navalta. Press any key to connect with Kelsey. If I push a button, we dial the lead. If the lead answers, we bridge the call. So here we are trying to put your client on the phone with the new lead about 2.5 minutes after the lead was generated. If that fails, we're going to send a voicemail drop. So this is awesome. We call these ringless voicemails. You upload a file here, an MP3 file. I would suggest that you record them on behalf of your clients, so you're not waiting around for your clients to send them to you. But essentially, the lead's phone doesn't actually ring. They just get a notification that they have a new voicemail. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, this is, so-and-so from Dr. Bob's Dentistry. Thanks for claiming our free teeth whitening offer. The next step is to get you booked for a cleaning. We sent you an email. We sent you a text with a link to grab a day and time that works for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reply to the email or text. And so then from there, we're going to wait, and this is up to you, and then do whatever you want to do tomorrow and the next day. You customize it from there. But the point is, if we take a step back and look at what just happened in the first 5 minutes, again, we've got a 5-minute window here, right? If we look at everything that we just did and we compare it to what happens when we just send our clients a notification and hope that they know what they're doing, it's absolutely night and day. And if we go back to those statistics, when we turn on the Fast Five, we are essentially guaranteeing that we're going to increase the odds of our customers closing leads by almost 400%, because we know that if you engage the lead within the first minute, that's what happens. So this is completely night and day. With the Fast Five, you're going to start delivering bookings and conversations versus just email notifications. And when we do this for clients, we see churn dramatically decrease because we've taken the hardest part of this equation out of their hands. We're populating their calendar with bookings. We're generating conversations within the first 5 minutes. And so we are positioning our agency to be in this column, right? Our customers are now going to be the exception because they are actually engaging their new leads within the first 5 minutes. By the way, this leads to the easiest sale in the world. So when we implemented this at our agency, it enabled us to have conversations like this. When you're talking to a new client as a prospect, you're like, yeah, our software, if you work with us and we run ads for you, our software is going to generate leads that do one of three things. A percentage of them are going to just book automatically. They're going to listen to our automation and they're going to book themselves on your calendar. Amazing, right? Your staff didn't even get involved. You just have a calendar full of whatever it is they do. First visit promotions, qualifying calls, whatever it may be. Then there's going to be a segment of these leads that reply to the automation. And that's right within the app in your pocket, you're going to be able to respond to these hot leads and close them as your staff should know how to do by just basically answering their questions and then sending them the link to book. Then there's going to be a third segment of the leads that don't do anything. That's just the nature of the game, but don't worry, we're going to add them to a long-term nurture. We haven't talked a ton about long-term nurtures, but you definitely want to have one that you provide for your clients so that you can say this, hey, don't worry, every stale lead goes into our long-term nurture. We're going to nurture them for a year for you. At some point during the year, they're going to see something that intrigues them and they're going to put their hand up and then become a booking at that point. This is an advantage you guys can have, again, if you niche, because it's very easy, I say this all the time, to create a year's worth of nurture content when you get to know an industry, right? So again, we used to work with a ton of med spas. They all sell the same stuff: Botox, Ristylane, Cool Sculpting, Sculpture, etc. It's very easy to go to those companies' websites where they have fantastic videos, testimonials, imagery, stuff like that, and create a year's worth of nurture content so that at some point down the line, these leads see something that makes them go, oh, I'll claim that offer, right? And again, we're pairing that with reactivation campaigns that we learned about last week. And so your long-term nurture process becomes very effective. That's a tough offer for a business to turn down, right? No longer is it just, oh, we're going to run ads and we're going to send you a notification each time we generate a lead. It's like, no. One of these three things is going to happen and they're all great. So that becomes a very easy sale to make. As a bonus, we have put together a snapshot. It's the same snapshot from before. We've actually updated it to include some ancillary workflows, right? So within this are workflows that do a couple of things. So there's the Fast Five that's in there ready to go. You've got the new lead nurture in there, which is essentially, that should be new hot lead. So this says, hey, if anybody's in the Fast Five and replies, we're going to move them over in the pipeline to the hot lead stage, and we're going to notify somebody that, hey, somebody replied. Then there's the stale lead one. So this will say, okay, if somebody's sitting in the new lead column for more than 2 days, we're going to shift them over into the long-term nurture. And then there's a workflow there called long-term nurture that you guys should go and build out. So this stuff is basically everything that you need to run the Fast Five effectively. And I'll go ahead and grab that link and throw it into the chat in just a second. And again, if you are not using High Level already and you want to check it out, we've got a 14-day free trial at gohighlevel.com.